Hi guys, welcome back to SHK Excel World. I am Salim Heather and I am back with the sixth part of the video series on pivot table dashboards beyond charts. And this is second last video of the series, and today we are going to learn all about slicers. So we are not going to cut any fruit here. So I am talking about slicers in Excel. We have already learned while learning about Excel tables that slicers can be inserted on Excel table. These are basically filters which filter your results, but very easily. So we are going to learn how we can insert slicers, what are report connections, what are slicer settings, and how we can format slicers to make them compatible with our overall dashboard theme. So this is what we are going to learn today. So this will be very interesting. But first, if you are new to SHK Excel World, do not forget to subscribe to it and also click the bell icon so that you know as to what we are going to do in the last video of this series, in which we are finally going to consolidate all of what we have done and created throughout the last six videos and this video as well.
So guys, this is how far we reached in our previous 6 videos, and during the creation of those videos and these charts, we inserted these 3 slicers. So we are going to convert these boring looking slicers into very attractive and dynamically looking slicers. Let me show you how these look now. So this is a slicer. If you hover over your cursor, the color changes, and if you select some of the fields, the unselected have a different color, and if you hover your cursor on the unselected ones, it has a different color, and if you hover your cursor over the selected fields, it has a different color. And these all items look like 3D buttons. So how you are going to achieve this? This is very simple, and today we are going to learn this. If you are new to this series, you can download the file which is at this status, in which we have created this part of the dashboard, and in last video we also created those charts which are not compatible with pivot table. So for just your consumption, I am going to insert new slicers just for those who are new to this series, so that they know how slicers are inserted in a pivot table. So these were the pivot tables we created. You can either click on the pivot table and go to insert and insert a slicer from this option, or you can, as this is a pivot table, you can also click on it, go to pivot table, and in there you will find the slicer or the filter group, in which there is a insert slicer option as well. You can go to the pivot table, analyze and insert slicer, and from here you can insert the customer country, the category, and here you will be able to find the years, because when we inserted the pivot table automatically grouped the date field into years, quarters and months. So this is why we were not able to see the years field in the Excel table when we were inserting slicer over there. You just press OK. So this is how the slicer appears first when you insert it into your Excel sheet. Select all of these 3, cut them, go to your dashboard and paste them onto your dashboard. So coming to the years field, we can see that we have 2018, 19, 20, and we can see 2 additional field items, which is less than 4 July 2018 and greater than 7th of December 2020. But if we go to the orders detail table and check the field of date, which is the order date, we can see that it starts with July, which is July 4th and of 2018, and ends on December 6th 2020. So the data does not contain any fields or records older than 4 July 2018 or after 7 December 2020. So we do not need to have these two fields appearing. So what we can do is, there are slicer settings available. We can right click on the slicer, go to slicer settings, and very easily we can check this checkbox which says that hide items with no data. So we do not want any item created by pivot table itself against which we do not have any data, and we can press just OK. So this was the first thing which we wanted to do, because we do not want to see anything beyond what our data holds. Now clicking on your slicer and going to the slicer ribbon, we first need to make sure that all of the slicers are connected with all of the pivot tables on which these charts are prepared, so that whenever we filter the dashboard through a slicer, all of the charts or the charts which we want to be filtered should be filtered. So click on the slicer, go to the slicer ribbon and click report connections. You should make sure that all of those pivot tables which you want to be filtered are checked with that slicer, and press OK. We can do same with other slicers and see if these are connected. So the category name is not connected with all of the pivot tables. We will have to do it manually. So these are all those pivot tables which are forming basis for these dashboard items. Just press OK. Going to the customer country, let us see its report connections. It is connected with all of the pivot tables. Okay. So this was the second thing to do with slicers. Before going on to the formatting, we need to learn that we can increase the number of items, filter items in a slicer in one row by increasing the number of columns. So in case of beverages, I would like to have only 3 items in one column. So I can increase the number of columns so that I only have 3 items, maximum of 3 items in one column. I can do the same with customer country, because this is a long list of countries. I'll have to increase the number of columns so that we only are left with 3 items in one column. So I think this is fine now. All of our slicers are having a maximum of 3 items. In each column. So the next thing to do with slicers is to change the formatting so that it remains compatible with your overall dashboard theme. So my dashboard theme is mostly black and dark colored, which you can see in this final version of the dashboard, or should I say the semi-final version. So I want to have dark pure colors in my dashboard. For this, we are going to format the slicer. What we have to do is, we have to select the slicer, go to the slicer ribbon, and in the slicer styles group, right click on any of the slicer, click duplicate. This may be called as the personalization of the slicer for my own liking. I can name this as SHK Excel World. You can see multiple headings available against which you can do the formatting. You just follow what I am doing and you will end up with what we have just seen in the other sheet. Starting with the whole slicer, we just have to make the background black. So just click black for the fill portion of the slicer and press OK. So we are done with the whole slicer and press OK. You will see that we now have a new slicer, which is SHK Excel World. First you will have to select the slicer and apply the new slicer. Do not worry if you cannot see anything like the header or the other thing, these are hidden. Also select the other 2 slicers and select the new slicer theme which we have just created, and we'll continue to modify this theme. Right click on it and click modify. We are done with the whole slicer. The second thing is the header. Click on it, click format, and first is the font. For the font we are going to select Arial Black because I like it very much. It is very prominent, and for things like slicer, which is on the top of your dashboard. This will make it much more appealing, and 14 should be the size of that font. Going to the border, I want to have the border as dark blue. So this is the dark blue which is in the theme. So this is the one which I want to have. And for this one, I want to select the dark one and will only select the right and bottom so that it will give a 3D effect to my slicer header. And then going on to the fill portion, I'm going to fill it light blue, but there is a little change. We are going to insert a pattern here. The pattern color should be a dark blue pattern color, which is in the standard items or standard colors, and the pattern will be a check one. You will see that it will make it much more interesting to see. And press OK. So before moving on to the next one, let us see how it looks like. Just press OK. So yes, it almost looks like what I created previously. I'll have to just increase the size of it so that the whole of it is visible. So now our theme is coming up. The next thing we have to do is again go to the slicer ribbon and modify our new theme. We are only going to work with selected items with data. So we are not concerned with items which do not have a data because we already have them struck off from our slicer. So selected item with data, click format, and for the font we are going to select again Arial black, regular and 10. So here is Arial black, it's regular, yes, it's regular, and the font should be 10. But a change, we are going to do a change to it because this is a selected item. We want it to be highlighted more. We will have this a double underlined. Then go on to the border. For border we are going to select the double line border, and for the color we are going to have the dark blue color which is in the theme colors, and for the borders again we are going to select the right one and the lower one. We do not want to have the other borders, just the right and the lower one. So this will also give a 3D effect. Other options are not available like we had in our formatting tools for shapes. So for this we are going to use this technique to make this seem 3D. And for the fill we are going to fill it as a standard green. This is a standard green color. And press OK. We are not going to use any pattern color and let us see the result. I forgot one thing. We wanted to have the font color as white. Again go to the slicer and modify. For the selected item with data, go to format and select the font color to be white and press OK. Now check it. Now it looks like what I wanted to create. Again go to the slicer, modify it. We are done with the selected item. Now we are going to modify the unselected item. Click format, and for the font we are going to use the Calibri body, regular and 10. This can be as per your liking. This is what I like. And again for the font color we are going to use the white color. So now going to the fill item, we are not going to modify the borders for this one. Go to fill, click on the fill effect, and we are going to choose the dark red for the first one, which is almost maroon color, and for the second color we are going to select the proper red color, and the last option will be more suitable, which is from the center, so it will look like that it's a 3D object. And press OK, and again press OK, and we are going to see what has happened. Press OK and just select one, and we can see that the rest of the items look like that they are 3D. Again go to the slicer, click modify, and click unselected item with data, click format. Maybe we will have to remove the border and press OK. So now it exactly looks like what I wanted. Again go to the slicer, click modify. We are left with two items now, which is while we hover our cursor above a selected item and an unselected item. So there should be a difference between the two. Click on the hover selected item with data and click format, and for the font we are going to select again Arial black and 12. So unselected item has a font size of 10, but when a cursor is hovered over the unselected item, it will feel like that it is popping out and it is more visible to the reader. Now go to the border. We are going to select a solid border, but for the color we are going to choose black, solid, right. So remove the other borders, select right and lower one. And for the fill one, we are going to again use the fill effect. Again use two colors. We are going to choose the dark color and the light color which is available in the theme colors. And again we are going to use from center so that it feels 3D. And press OK. So let us see, if we hover our color on a selected item, then it seems like it is popping out because the size at once increases. Now again go to the slicer setting, click modify. Now the last item is hover unselected item with data. Click format. Again for the font we are going to choose Arial black and 12 so that it again pops out, and the color should be white. Now going on to the border, we are going to click black color, solid, only right and bottom, and then going on to the fill. For the fill we are again going to use fill effects, and for the two color we are going to choose the standard, dark blue and light blue. And again we are going to choose from center and press OK and press OK. And we are almost, I think we are done with all of the formatting. Press OK. Let us see. Now you can see that whenever we hover our color over an unselected item, it turns its color into blue and the size has increased, and because of the border shading it seems that it is popping out. A selected item, it is green, saying that it is already selected. So we can select multiple items and see our dashboard changing. We can remove the filters. So before closing out, I am just going to modify the background color for my dashboard so that the overall theme remains intact. We can modify the map color as well. Select the map and click the black fill. Now you can see that overall theme of the dashboard is in symmetry, and our dashboard items look very good. Do not forget to subscribe to SHK Excel World and stay tuned for the last video of the series, which is going to give us the final product of this dashboard.